1989. Kevin Flynn, now CEO of Encom, tells his 7-year-old son, Sam, about his adventures in the Grid, a completely digital world within the Tron computer system that Flynn created. Flynn explains to Sam that, with his counterpart Clue, Body Performance II of a codified likeness utility modeled after Flynn, and the security program Tron, he discovered something amazing within the Grid, a miracle. Sam asks what it is, but Flynn holds the story for next time before putting Sam to bed and going to work. A series of newspaper articles and television reports follow announcing the mysterious disappearance of Kevin Flynn after that night. Sam is left to stay with his paternal grandparents and questions the nature of his father's disappearance. 20 years later, Sam rides his motorcycle through the night streets towards the Encom tower. He hacks into the building and evades security cameras as he goes upstairs. Meanwhile, a board meeting is being held where Richard Mackey presents the new OS 12, a secure operating system. When Alan Bradley inquires about improvements to the system, given the high prices already charged, young Edward Dillinger says that the idea of sharing software for free disappeared with Kevin Flynn. Sam breaks into the control room and swaps out the OS 12 master file so that when Mackey attempts to run it, he sees a repetitive video of Sam's dog Marv. Sam smirks as he passes the boardroom, followed closely by a security guard. When Mackey angrily asks where the master file is, Bradley announces that it's on the web. The security guard, Ernie, chases Sam onto the rooftops where Sam reveals his true identity as the largest shareholder of the company before he leaps off the edge of the building. He parachutes safely to the ground but gets snagged at a traffic light and is soon arrested by police. Sam makes bail and returns home. A shipping container refitted as an apartment and overlooking the city skyline across the river, Bradley visits Sam, commending him on his latest prank, apparently, an annual event that Sam performs on the day of his father's disappearance. Bradley tells Sam that he recently received a page from Flynn's office above his arcade, a number that hasn't been in use for 20 years. Sam reluctantly follows the tip and heads to the arcade. There he finds a secret doorway behind his father's Tron arcade game which leads him down a passage and into a confined control room. Sam sits at the computer to find that it still works and searches through it for information. However, he unknowingly activates a large laser behind him which emits a digitizing ray, sending him straight into the Grid. Shocked at the sudden change in environment, Sam stumbles outside the arcade where he is quickly picked up by a recognizer. The programs on board restrain him and the recognizer takes off again. Sam comes face to face with other captive programs, including one that nervously chatters and one missing half his face. They are all taken to the edge of the gaming grid where they are assigned either for derezing or games. Sam watches as the nervous program is assigned to the games but, once free, plunges himself into an in-ground fan, derezing himself. Sent to the armory, Sam's clothes are removed by sirens, and is fitted with armor and an identity disc. The last siren, Jem, instructs Sam to survive before he is led out onto the gaming grid for disc wars. He is pitted against an opponent whom he manages to defeat before trying to escape the arena. Sam comes out on the final round to face Rinsler, who quickly subdues him. When he sees blood on Sam's armor, Rinsler recognizes him as a user and faces him towards a viewing box above the arena where the watching authority figure asks Sam to identify himself. The figure then summons Sam to see him where he reveals himself as a youthful Kevin Flynn. Amazed to see his father, Sam asks if they can go home, but his request is denied. His father then reveals himself as Clue and, after seeing nothing of note on Sam's disc, sends him to the light cycle arena. Clue's right-hand man, Jarvis, entices the crowd before Sam is put on a team of programs while Clue battles them with his own team. One by one, the racing programs are eliminated while a mysterious figure watches overhead. Before Sam and Clue can face off, the figure intervenes with a light runner and blasts a hole out of the arena, escaping off-grid into the outlands where other programs' vehicles cannot follow. The figure introduces herself as Cora and takes Sam out to a secluded home situated on a craggy hilltop. Inside, Sam is tearfully reunited with his real father. Cora shows Sam that Flynn has been teaching her about the real world before they all sit down to dinner. Sam and his father catch up before Flynn answers Sam's biggest question: why he never came home. Flynn reveals that, as Sam now knows, when he went to work he was really entering the Grid, working with Tron and Clue on creating the perfect system. Isomorphic algorithms that spontaneously evolved from the Grid without user intervention and with properties that Flynn had never seen before. Their makeup included biodigital genetics that Flynn was convinced would change the world. However, Clue performed a coup, ambushing Flynn and Tron and taking over the system. The portal, the only way out of the Grid. With Sam's arrival, the portal is open again and Sam argues that they have time to escape, but Flynn refuses. He explains that it's a move that Clue anticipates in hopes of retrieving Flynn's identity disk to use to manipulate the portal. Flynn is also certain that it was Clue who sent the page to Alan. Understanding Sam's frustration, Quora goes to him in his room and tells him about a program in the city named Zeus who used to help the ISOs during the purge and may be of some help. Sam takes Flynn's vintage light cycle into the city where he trades it for a cloak. However, he's recognized by the Siren Gem who takes him to Zeus's end-of-line club where a large party is being entertained. There, he meets the eccentric caster who promises to take Sam to Zeus. After finding Sam gone, Flynn resolves to head into the city though Quora assures him that she sent Sam to someone they could trust. Regardless, Clue prepares a group and flies out to Flynn's home to find it empty. As he looks around, Clue recalls when he was first created and how Flynn promised that they would change the world together. The thought makes him furious. Castor reveals to Sam that he is Zeus but admits that his services have turned with the tide. At that moment, the club is infiltrated by Clue's guards and Sam steps out to fight them. Quora arrives and fights along Sam but is overpowered and her left arm is derezed. Flynn then appears and derezes the rest of the guards before escorting Sam, carrying Quora who has gone into a state of shock, to the elevator to escape. Zeus propels an extension cord to capture Flynn's disc as the elevator doors shut and sabotages the lowering mechanism. Flynn manages to slow the elevator before they crash and scolds Sam for. They decide to then board a solar sailor which should take them directly to the portal. Clue arrives at the club where Zeus presumes a silent agreement, Flynn's disc for control of the city. But, as he and Gem watch, Clue orders his guards to rig the place with bombs and, as Clue leaves in his ship, the tower explodes. As they ride the solar sailor, Flynn takes Quora's identity disc and rearranges the corrupted material that will enable her arm to regenerate. Quora wakes up moments later and tells Sam that Flynn saved her during the purge. They bond further and Quora asks more about the real world. Sam tries to describe to her what the sun looks like as Flynn looks on, smiling. Suddenly, the solar sailor intersects the Rectifier, a large carrier ship. Flynn, Quora, and Sam hide among the cargo units of the sailor and discover that programs are encased within. Rinsler then appears and begins to investigate the sailor. Quora gives Sam her disc and runs into Rinsler's line of sight where she is immediately captured and taken away. Flynn and Sam use Quora's distraction to move out. They find Clue giving an announcement to his army. With Flynn's disc in his possession, he intends to use it to allow passage into the real world where they may perfect it. Flynn and Sam agree to a plan and split up. Flynn makes his way to the light jet hangar where he reprograms a guard, allowing him to access one of the vehicles. Meanwhile, Sam makes his way to Clue's docking tower to rescue Quora and retrieve Flynn's disc. He fights off the guards there and intimidates Jarvis, allowing him to retrieve Flynn's disc. Rinsler confronts him, holding Quora as a hostage, but Sam fights him off and defeats him by knocking him off the edge of the tower. Sam takes Quora and leaps off the tower, using a wing-like parachute to glide to the ground. They meet up with Flynn in his light jet and Quora takes the pilot's seat. Clue storms into the tower to find Rinsler. As he watches Flynn's light jet leave the carrier, he strikes down Jarvis with his disc and leaps out of the tower, creating his own light jet. As they fly over the sea of simulation, Sam is sent to the light jet's turret to fire on their pursuers. Rinsler flies over the light jet and he and Flynn make eye contact for the first time. Flynn asks Quora to do something for him just before they arrive at the portal. As they walk up the pathway, they find Clue standing before them. Clue confronts Flynn and insists that all he was trying to do was what Flynn instructed him to. Flynn apologizes to Clue and says that perfection is impossible because it's unknowable, but Clue would not know that because Flynn didn't when he created him. This revelation incites Clue to attack Flynn, who yells at Sam and Quora to continue to the portal. Clue jumps the gap between the gate and the portal, but Flynn performs reintegration, a destructive method of rejoining Clue to him. Flynn watches tearfully and with pride as Sam holds his disc into the portal. He says, "Goodbye, kiddo," before Clue is merged with him. Sam and Quora escape the grid just before the union, which results in a massive explosion that destroys it. Back in his father's office, Sam saves the Tron system onto a microchip that he laces around his neck. He pages Alan to the shop and tells him that he was right about everything. Sam says that he will take back Encom and would like Alan as chairman. Leaving the arcade, Sam greets Quora, who asks what they will do now. Sam tells her that he has something to show her and takes her for a ride on his motorcycle. As they ride out into the real world, Quora sees the sunrise for the first time. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications to watch more videos like this.